you farm? What do you farm?
Fish, piggery, dairy.
Recording in progress.
When we go live, will someone tell us we're live?
Yeah.
Is there a countdown?
There's a countdown, right? Okay.
Oh, great. Can we get someone to take a video?
Just open for them.
Yes. No, give her one bottle. Hi, Unique. I feel like jumping. Why? Just to wake your brain.
Yes. And freeze.
Thank you. I love it. Is it possible to take a shot to clip? Please. Okay. Why isn't the water cold?
Freezing cold water right now.
Yes, we can hear that. For me, over to you.
Thank you very much, Unike and John and Wangari. Now, starting from today, we will be together every morning at 10 a.m. East African time until Friday, bringing you the best of what AGRF 2021 Summit has to offer for each day.
This year is the 11th edition of the summit. Over 10,000 people from across Africa will join us from over 40 sessions and 30 side events, which kicked off discussions yesterday, building momentum for the rest of the summit.
Wow, Wangari, that's quite exciting. We have over 60,000 people joining us today, and I think that's worth it for this kind of exciting events. For this year's AGRF Summit, the theme is Pathways to Recovery and Resilient Food System, which aims to elevate the single coordinated African voice to the United Nations Food System Summit happening this September in the United States, and also to identify immediate actions, next steps, commitments that we all need to take in order for us to accelerate progress. Not only that, but also accelerate recovery and towards inclusive agricultural transformation agenda. Before we take a quick look at the official video for the AGRF Summit, I'd like to take it back to my colleagues, Unike. If you looked at this theme for this year, it has been coined out of the fact that we need to change the way we produce food, and we need to change the way we consume food as well. So how does these topics, pathways to recovery and resilient food system, resonate with you, Unike?
Thank you so much, John. As you might be aware, I think a lot of us have been and still are being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So to speak for myself, as a smallholder farmer, it really hasn't been easy. Everything has just been distorted, the prices, access to markets. So many things have really been disturbed in the ecosystem. And for me, resilience, that's the name of the game. We're still here, despite, having so many challenges, but we're up in the game. Over to you, John.
No, thank you very much, Unike. I like the point that you made about the smallholder farmers, making them to be resilient in terms of their productions. Wangari, did you share the same sentiments as Unike?
Yes, I definitely agree. But for me, I'd just like to add on that we need to also take whatever we've learned in the urban areas to the rural areas as well. Because remember, those guys have chunks of land and they're the ones who are struggling mostly economically compared to the urbanites. So we need to take it back home, guys. Mm-hmm. Yes. What do you think?
No, I like that. So exciting. Thank you very much, Wangari. So let's take a quick look at the short clip for the AGRF Summit 2021. I will be back.
Food. We all need food. Food is the critical driver needed to tackle some of the world's greatest challenges, including hunger, prosperity, and climate change. But it's not just food. It's the way we produce, trade, and consume our food. Today, our farmers are producing 400 times as much food as we did in the 1950s. Yet, we still have over 250 million people that are hungry in Africa, and still millions of farmers struggling to escape poverty. The African consumer market is the fastest growing. It is home to roughly 1.2 billion consumers. This number is projected to increase to 1.7 billion by 2030. To ensure prosperity for African farmers and agribusinesses, and to meet the demand for the African consumer, we must create an African vision for the future of our food systems. The AGRF 2021 Summit in Nairobi takes place at a time when the global voices converge around food systems and the urgency to act. It is also the time when the world's focus turns to the economic and social recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Under the theme, Pathways to Recovery and Resilient Food Systems, the AGRF Summit will explore the pathways and actions needed to accelerate this process. The summit program will feature new commitments to the future of African food systems. It will showcase the future leaders of African agriculture, including youth, women, and entrepreneurs, and showcase how resilient food systems will be built out of leadership. The AGRF 2021 Summit is a defining moment to highlight and unlock the political, policy, and financial commitments and innovations the continent has made and that it continues to make towards zero hunger. Together with our partners, we will convene to inform, influence, and catalyze action under 4 action tracks: trade and competitiveness, advancing equitable livelihoods, nutrition and health, and building resilient food systems. The AGRF 2021 Summit in Nairobi will bring together 10 heads of states, 30 ministers, and over 10,000 delegates across the globe in 4 days of high-level dialogues, events, and debates to showcase the possibilities and inspire commitment and action from all parties within the food systems. It's our time to listen, innovate, plan, and invest for Africa. What we invest in African agriculture today will determine the future of food in Africa and the world tomorrow.
We have a super exciting program ahead, and we want to make sure that you have the best time while you're here with us. So let's go through the overview for the week. At the AGRF 2021 program, we will run each day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. East African time. There are 2 time blocks for parallel sessions in the morning and mid-morning to avoid any overlaps with the main sessions that are happening in the afternoon. The program seeks to showcase solutions and elevate pathways to show towards food systems, transformation and recovery under 4 main action tracks. First, we have equitable and inclusive livelihoods, which is going to happen during day 1. We have the build forward better, which is going to happen on day 2. We have healthy people and planet, which will happen on day 3. And finally, sustainable food systems.
Wow, that's quite a program, I might say, and I'm liking how the thematic areas are very specific. So let's look at the features in our program. We have the plenary sessions. This is where we feature the preeminent speakers taking a deep dive into the various themes and unpacking the issues pertinent to African food systems. Secondly, we'll have the parallel sessions. I'm sure you're looking forward to that as well.
am.
Yes, which will deal with advancing the AGRF 10 thematic platforms and will include special interactive elements as well. We'll also get to know your feedback, so kindly come on in for the dialogue. Thirdly, we'll have the food system pathway sessions, which will feature fascinating headliners and thought-provoking discussions on focusing on food systems pathways and looking at regions like the East, Southern, Central, West, and North Africa. Then there is the creme de la creme. Special events designed just to showcase ideas and trending innovations by the youth, farmers, and business leaders. I urge all youth to get on board with this one because innovation is just our thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes. Lastly, we have the VIP events, which will feature the heads of state, high-level delegates, and eminent thought leaders discussing the status of food systems in Africa and to urgently transform the solutions that will lead to achievement of a hunger-free continent.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
What do you
Wow.
think, John?
Wangari, that's quite an intense and very packed summit. You know, the exciting part about the AGRF Summit 2021 is every year the AGRF Summit comes with a new dimension, new innovations to address the most important discussion on the continent right now, how to achieve resilient food system. So I must agree, this is really an intense and power-packed program that we have for this summit.
Yes.
Absolutely. How about you, Unike? What do you think? Do you look forward to all the sessions that are coming up?
You know, I can't wait to showcase what is going to be happening tomorrow. I think tomorrow there's something quite interesting that I'm really looking forward to. So today we're keeping it calm since it's just the beginning. But yeah, over to you, Francisca.
Thank you so much, Unike. Well, during the midday break, you can stretch your world and interact with exhibition space and engage with, in the participatory events. You know, we have polls, interactive spaces, and opportunities to interact with other participants. We'll particularly serve the online audience. So if you're online, please don't go far away. Make sure you're tuned in. We have the Commitments Showcase, which will feature highlights from the agro countries, value chain projects, and partners reflecting their initiatives, returns on investment, and commitments. Throughout the week, the deal room will be operating, and there will be opportunities for interaction or to pick through the AGRF content library from, to find inspirational materials and spaces for participant voices. Lastly, but not the least, there is a food systems innovators segment, that will feature a different African innovator with an emphasis on women, youth, and SMEs.
Great.
Wow, what a lineup that we have today. I so much like the fact that you ended with the fact that we're going to have the food system innovators that's going to feature young people, and the program like the exciting part that we have, like the Pitch Agri Hack, where young innovators are showcasing their ideas to address the food system summit problem that we have. So it's quite a powerful event that we have today, and I'm honestly looking forward to engaging both in studio within the program and online for our people that are going to tweet at us on Twitter at #AGRF 2021.
Yes, John, that's true. And I liked what you said, Francisca, about the deal room. I think we all want to live here with something, and I think that is the place to find the opportunities.
Absolutely.
And even if you might not necessarily live with something tangible, you will live with a different mind. And a mindset is all you need to change your world.
I agree.
Don't you agree?
I do.
Yes, so this is usually a charged event, but this year it is free and from the comfort of your home. So I'm urging all of us to just share, so that we can get that community going and the vibe warming up. Right? Yes, so let's have some reflections for the day. The mood has already been set to enrich and complement this year's summit. Partners and other stakeholders yesterday already did meet on the pre-summit day, and they had almost 30 side events showcasing and advancing the transformation of our food system. Unique, what do you think?
Wow. That's a lot. 30 side events.
Yeah.
That's something. Anyway, let me set the theme of the day discussion. As you know, today the AGRF 2021 Summit kicks off. Each of the day, the summit is dedicated to a specific theme. Today, the summit is focusing on equitable and inclusive livelihood.
Yeah.
With what we've gone through, this is what I'm looking forward to. Francisca, over to you.
Thank you so much, Unique. So the theme could not be more appropriate. Honestly, eradicating poverty in all its forms remains one of the greatest challenges facing humanity. Poverty, inequality, and power imbalances at household, community, national, and global levels are a major constraint to attaining a sustainable food system. Wangari, you have some key facts for us today around this theme.
Yes. I was almost saying that this is an exciting fun fact, but then upon reading it, I realized it's not that exciting. It's actually sad.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brings us together, to humanize us, to go ahead. Even though we could be economically in a better place, we have to remember our brothers and sisters who are struggling.
Yeah.
So here comes the key fact. More than 70 million people, or the 10% of the world population, live in extreme poverty today. Many more people living in less than $1.9 a day mostly live in sub-Saharan Africa. Can you imagine this?
Our Africa.
Yes.
Wow. Wangari, those are shocking statistics, I must confess. 700 million people, that's a lot of numbers. And if you looked at these statistics that you just gave out, it brings us to the table again to ask that question. How can we get this many people out of poverty?
Yes.
I think that should be the question that we should address today, and you can tweet your answer to us on Twitter at AGRF 2021. But beyond that, mind you, Wangari, this number are just pre-COVID-19. In the last 18 months or so, we've had COVID-19 destroy so many economies and people's livelihood as well. So again, the discussion we're having for this AGRF summit is really at the right time to address the impact of COVID-19 on our food system, on our economies. Yeah.
Wow, John, those numbers are quite really alarming over the past 18 months. But anyway, that's a very important question, one that today's AGRF sessions is going to try to address.
Yes.
And today we are joined by Kate Dempsey, the Chief Executive Officer at Aqua License, to tell us more. This should be a quite interesting interview. Francisca.
Yes, I'm very honored to introduce our guest today. Kate Dempsey is the CEO of Aqua License Limited and various marine, other marine-based businesses focused on seafood and energy production. She has built a strong profile within the Irish aquaculture and marine industries as she has pivoted from a legal background into aquaculture. Over to you.
Wow,
Welcome,
wow,
Kate.
wow.
Good morning.
Thank you so much, Kate, for giving us time and for you to participate in this year's 2020-21 AGRF Summit. Please tell us more about yourself. Who are you? Who is Kate? And what is it that you do?
Yeah, so as I was so kindly introduced, and thank you all for having me here today. It's really an exciting topic that we're covering. For me, it's really important. It's a crucial topic. My business background, well, I suppose, as you had mentioned, my background is law. So working in the marine space is probably not something you might have expected of me. But I'm from a fishing family. Yeah, I'm from a fishing family. And so I think I was always going to back to marine-based business. When I was 22, I applied for my first aquaculture license. So I have an offshore mussel farm. And I think I had a bite of the entrepreneurial bug then. So a bit of a serial entrepreneur now. I also have a marine-based consulting firm, and we plan and develop large-scale offshore aquaculture, as well as large-scale offshore wind energy production. I have a survey company, which is based in the marine, and it's carrying out surveys to complement both of those industries. And I also am part owner of 6 offshore wind farms. So between food production, seafood production, and energy, that's kind of my space. It's where I'm happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much, Kate. So today we're talking about equitable and inclusive livelihoods. And I have 2 questions for you. I mean, how does aquaculture contribute to livelihoods? I mean, still trying to figure that out. I want to hear your thoughts.
It's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to see that sometimes. You know, aquaculture lives in rural coastal communities. So there are those communities that are generally not populated very much, but bringing aquaculture and that type of business that is specifically addresses the problem of population in those rural communities. And so I think that in a lot of ways, aquaculture could perhaps provide examples to other businesses in rural communities. For example, and if we put it on the local level, there is a county in Ireland called Donegal, and 12.5% of that county is employed through aquaculture. That's how impactful aquaculture, large-scale aquaculture, can be in a specific area. And I think it's only when you look at it at the local level that you can really see its true socio impact. So yeah, it's one of those industries that is accessible to people, and that really supports where the population expands to outside of cities, because the majority of our populations are along the coastlines generally.
Exactly. No, thank you so much. My second question, we have around 18 million people engaged in the production of fish farming worldwide, including, my home country here in Zambia, of which 19% are women. Thanks to you add up to that number. But however, when considering other activities in the aquaculture value chain, such as processing or marketing, we don't get to see as many women as we should. I mean, what can be done to close this gender gap in the aquaculture value chain and support the role played by women in this industry? What are your thoughts?
That's such a great question. It really is. And it's something that I'm really passionate about because, I suppose I come from a fishing family, and when I was choosing what I would do for my career, what I was going to do in college, and luckily able to go to college, I was told that fishing was not an option for me because at that time, fishing vessels just didn't support, women's needs at a really basic level. And so I went to college and studied law, and that's been really helpful in my career, but not what I wanted to do. Okay. And I think opening opportunities. So opening opportunities in the agri-food sector and in the aquaculture sector for women is something that I'm really, really passionate about, because I believe it's completely achievable. And those figures that you mentioned today, do you know what? I see those as a real opportunity, right? So we've got to increase protein production by 74% by 2050. I mean, how are we going to do that unless women play a more crucial role in these systems? And, you know, I think there's a huge amount of opportunity in that. And I think as long as governments are supporting that initiative, that women should play as much as a role, as much of a role as our male colleagues in the aquaculture and agri-food sector, I think that it could really benefit our food network and our systems that are supporting, you know, initiatives that are not just increasing food production, but also increasing the well-being of communities. And that's so crucially important as we move forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think we need more stakeholder collaboration from everybody, you know, involved in the agriculture space. So my last question, I mean, what do you hope to get out of this year's 2021 AGRF Summit? Just off the cuff.
I'm so excited about it. Yeah. So I'm very much so a solutions-oriented entrepreneur. And so I'm really excited that this morning is led by young entrepreneurs like me, although I think you might be a little bit younger. And I'm really excited to see the new innovations and solutions that are really poised and aimed at some of the global problems that we're facing right now. How does our agri-food system fit in with this change that must happen? You know, how does our system become resilient while also being resilient in terms of production, while also working well with our environment? And that's one of the largest challenges that we face going forward. And I do think, and I suppose coming from an aquaculture perspective, we've learned a huge amount over the years from agriculture. That's why aquaculture is the fastest growing food industry in the world right now. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons why. And I think that there is, and I suppose there's potential and opportunity for young agri-farmers to maybe learn from some of the challenges that aquaculture have faced. Because we've been dealing with the issue of stakeholder engagement, fitting in with our environment since it began, really. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to the solutions and the innovations. And to be honest, the spirit and willingness of young people and young entrepreneurs to face these challenges head on. And hopefully that our governments and our policymakers can support this, because I feel like that's an opportunity that nations will miss otherwise.
Exactly. No, thank you so much, Kate, for joining us at the opening, and and opening us to the world of aquaculture. And I hope you enjoy the AGRF as we go on.
I'm sure that I will. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Over to you, Wangari.
Wow, an amazing interview. As she was talking, I was just thinking about it. Like, how do women and going out into sea and looking for food in the ocean and rivers and all that, I'm thinking, wow, we really need to be more intentional in inclusivity of women as well. So today we are joined by a special guest, Mr. Steve Ngunyi. What is your association with agriculture, or at least you can just tell us what you had for breakfast?
Thank you so much, Margaret and the team. This is an amazing studio. I think this just signifies why I'm here, and so this is just an amazing place.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, my name is Steve Ngunyi. I'm an agripreneur,
okay.
And I think Kate was talking about me in that interview because I think more of us. Being the first day, we are so excited about AGRF. Being a Kenyan, I'm happy it's here home. Yes. The last time it was 2016, where was my first time to be at AGRF. So it has been 5 years, and I'm happy that I'm here. So as an agripreneur, that has been my line of business, and also looking at the opportunities that it is for Africa. So it has to be something that we have to be engaged, and so that we can also be informed. So that is one of the key things that such forums for us young Africans want to be part of.
Wow, amazing. Maybe we could just go into the definition. What's the difference between a small scale farmer and an agripreneur? And while you are on that, maybe you can speak more on AGRF on the previous year. And what were your experiences there? What blew your mind? And you can start seeing it even as we go into this one.
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Ogari. For me, I think I do not separate smallholder farming with being an agripreneur, because everything is a business.
Right.
You have to invest in something. So there's, I like to demystify that aspect of there's a small scale farmer, a large scale farmer, only from the scalability of it.
Right.
But then it's all a business. So that's why when we have that notion in mind, we can actually take the same level of respect, level of input in terms of time, in
Yes.
terms of research, in terms of development, just like any other career in every other business. So to me, I would like us to, and back to last year's and the previous years,
Yeah.
I think that is why we are seeing such a huge drive based from the political goodwill,
Yes.
policies which are being driven to this effect.
Yes.
And I believe coming from a situation like last year and going forward with COVID-19, so much emphasis is being given into agriculture.
Yeah.
And not only just from farm,
Yes.
but across the value chain.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying that there's so much involvement with post-production, farm gate, and other people who would need to be part of this,
Yes.
so that we can all come together.
Yes.
And it's amazing that it is also happening within the same month that we're having the United Nations Food System Summit.
Yes.
So it is a jam-packed awakening
Wow. Yes.
for the whole world
Yes.
on where the focus should be in Africa and also in agriculture. So to the last point that you've asked, why AGRF and what
Yes.
the changes?
Yes.
Look at it like this. I followed what you were saying. This is now a free event,
Yes.
meaning nobody can say that they were
Nobody.
not participating.
Yes.
This is a jam-packed event from the synopsis that you have shared.
Yeah.
So I am really excited, and I really want to have the clarion call to people. Just come and listen in, get involved in terms of everything that is happening. There'll be the participatory event, and I think
Yes.
that I'm really looking forward to that,
Yes.
to engaging with so many things that are happening. So
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to this AGRF like no other.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just exciting. But before you go, one last question.
Yes.
There are a lot, I will have the statistics soon, a lot of youths who have plugged in the hope of expectation of what can they get. But I would like to turn this around onto us as the youth. Tell us, what, in your opinion, what can we do to plug in? What can we do from our end to be able to access all this opportunity and be part of turning the wheel?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something that I think it's not just within a discussion here, and I
Yeah.
know that it will happen here, but it's a discussion happening across different forums,
Right.
across different conferences. As Steve, I just want us to just think, being a very youthful
Yes.
continent,
Yes.
how can we have a change of cultural beliefs? The moment we have a different attitude
Yes.
to agriculture,
Right.
into business, will we give it the same that we on across other industries? We're talking about innovation
Yes.
being very strong in Africa.
Yeah.
We should actually be very strong in agriculture and integrating.
Yes.
So I think with Africa, as an African, young African, I like us to really have informed decisions.
Right.
So forums like this, we should not just leave it to the seniors, or just think about it as a government function, or it's a development agency function, private sector function. It is our function.
Wow.
And I like to say this.
Yes.
If we are not on the table,
Yes.
you're on the menu. So we need to be involved.
Yes.
We need to be involved. We need to have our voices, our thoughts in it, so that also the people who are in those positions of influence
Right.
or policies
Yes.
they have something that we have contributed to.
They have ground roots.
They have ground roots, and
Yes.
they have all these things. So to me, I'll just think that we have to have a very strong cultural change, and also whatever we know,
Yes.
let's share.
True.
Let's share.
Thank you so much. That was Steve Ngunyi. Thank you for your brilliant interview. We look forward to that. So next on studio, we are going to continue with the discussion. Francisca. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Wangari, I followed through the conversation with Steve. I'm really happy to hear him, highlighting that the youth are, a huge part of this conversation at the
Right.
AGRF 2021.
Yes.
Yes. Those were some exciting interviews, and they've geared me up for today. I wonder which special guest is coming in tomorrow, or, tuning in on tomorrow. Unique.
Well, Francisca, we can only keep you guessing for now, but be sure we'll have great guests lined up for everyone this week. And when I mean great guests, please don't lose out. Keep tuned. Don't go away. And just like I mentioned, stay tuned. And it's going to be insightful. Just don't miss out. That's all I can say. John, what do you think?
No, I share the same excitement with you, UDK. So we can only keep guessing because Kate and Steve has showed us what it means to support young people. If you look at their statement very well, it was very clear that we need to support young people and they need to be at the table making decisions as well for them to play an active role in the Food System Summit. So, guys, this is it. Moving on to today's program. As we have heard, we have series of sections that will focus on what is needed for us to advance equitable livelihood and also address inequality, and also some of these specific vulnerabilities that exist in our food system. So today is an exciting day for us to really kick off that discussion to ensure that everybody have an equitable livelihood for them to have access to that nutritious food that they desire.
Exactly. Thank you very much, John. So each day, the AGRF 2021 Summit will bring together, a diverse range of speakers to showcase, the possibilities in transforming African food systems and, inspiring commitment and action from all parties that are going to be involved. So today we have some, exciting sessions, which include the launch of the virtual 2021 Agribusiness Deal Room. I know it's virtual, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. And we also have the launch of, the Farmers Forum. And, further on, we're going to have some parallel sessions on equitable livelihoods for women, through innovative financing and climate adaptation. Francisca.
Wow, I love that. But you know what, Unique? You can see from our sets, vegetables, fruits. And the more exciting side of all of this, some of us who are foodies, we will be joined by Chef Kiran from Kenya and Chef Ska Motiani from Lesotho, who will cook us up some plethora of African cuisine, sourced from African ingredients with an emphasis on good food for planet and people. What do you think, Wangari? Is that a session you look forward to?
Yes, that's quite an interesting twist that we even have chefs on set. It's sad that we can't be able to smell the food, but we will be sure to translate that feeling tomorrow when we come in. Yes, and for all our bookworms out there, at 1:30 East African time, there is going to be a launch of the book titled Food Entrepreneurs in Africa. This is about scaling resilient agricultural businesses, Routledge 2021, written by Miss Ndidi Nuneli. That should take us up to lunchtime. Are you hungry?
Not quite, because guess what? You won't have to go too far because, you have to be back in your seats by 2 p.m. East African time for the launch of this year's Africa Agriculture Status Report and 2 exciting plenary sessions focusing on ensuring equitable, livelihoods and living incomes and food system transformation, accelerating action. Yeah.
And beyond that, we have to take another cup of coffee or tea because in Kenya, we don't close the day without tea.
No.
Yeah, so today, Closing out at day the sun sets, please join the Insight team at 6:15 EAT time for an interactive engagement or section reflecting on what the day section looks like. And for your information also, the team will also be handling partner questions on how African agriculture can contribute to net zero. So it's really exciting time ahead throughout the day.
I had goodbyes, but I think that's it. I mean, that's what we've lined up for day one of the 2021 AGRF Summit. And we hope you have enjoyed the show and that you're ready to engage and participate in the summit. We look forward to hosting you tomorrow at the same time.
Yes, thank you, Unique, for that. But you know what? Just before we leave the stage,
Yes.
I'd just like for us to discuss our action words for the 2021 AGRF Summit. Personally, I look forward to, African youth taking forward, taking action in this discussion, for them to be actively involved, to voice and, state their concerns in agriculture and how we can use this to build sustainable food systems. Africa is blessed with land. We are blessed with young people. We are youthful. How can we tap into that so that we can make our food systems resilient and sustainable? How about you, Wangari? What are your 4 action words for the 2021 AGRF Summit?
I actually love your forwards. And just to add on to that, I just like every one of us to think of themselves as a farmer. Food is actually the most basic thing that a human being actually needs, and it's good to be intentional and to have at the back of our minds where our food is actually coming from. And I would like to tie this in by making sure that we are including everyone into the conversation, into the actions, in terms of trying to make the world a better place. These groups are mostly women. We have the youth and we have people living with disability. According to today's themes, is about inclusivity.
Yes.
So we cannot end this conversation without repeating the theme about having resilient and inclusive agriculture, where we are thinking, if I was female, would I redesign this picture to be more inclusive? If I was disabled, or if I was inventing an innovation, which, by the way, we have to give kudos to innovation because it kind of gives everyone a playing field. You don't need as much muscle or as much physical effort to engage. But yeah, that's enough. Let's have someone else. Unique, what do you think?
Thank you so much. Farmer on fire, by the way. I think for me, this year's summit, I think, the words that are really speaking to me is, equitable livelihoods and resilience. And I'm speaking, from the gender perspective. I think there should be more women included in leadership positions. And I think with the COVID-19, I've seen, the majority of the smallholder farmers, especially women, come out more resilient more than ever. So for me, going forward, let's have more women representation out there. And for me, it was a good start to the 2021 AGRF Summit, where we had, Kate Dempsey, who is into aquaculture, a woman who's taking, the whole aquaculture business to the next level. So for me, really, that speaks volumes for me to see more women in leadership positions, more women, pioneering, aquaculture. So yeah, that's a go for me.
I like that, Unique. And you see, excitingly, you all mentioned about smallholder farmers. In my local language here back in Nigeria, my dialect is Yoruba language, and they used to say farmer is a king, meaning Agbe, Loba. So meaning farmer is the king. We can't do without farmers. And in all of these things, for me, my own reflection would mean that in order for us to achieve a resilient food system, we have to first of all think of two approach. One is we have to first think of farm from cloud to farm, and then from farm to table. So meaning you are thinking from cloud to farm with all of the high-city innovations that can weather for cars, for farmers, and all of that. And then from farm to table, you're also thinking of your end consumer at hand to ensure that they have safe and healthy diets on their table. So who plays this big two role is the smallholder farmers. We have to capitalize effort on them, invest in them, and also empower them to really scale up these innovations that will ensure that we all have a resilient food system. So I'll turn the table back to you, Wangari.
Yes, thank you so much for that. I think that's all we had time for today.
Absolutely.
But
yes.
make sure that you are here, engaged, and tweeting and telling us your feedback so that tomorrow is even a better and greater show. What do you think, Francisca?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for staying with us today. See you here tomorrow. Same time, same place for another edition of Good Morning AGRF.
Bye. You're good?
We nailed day one.
Woo! Oh, Lord.